So for quite some time now, I've received requests asking me to make a video using my phone and share with you some tips for how you can create better videos and capture more cinematic footage using a mobile device. And I'm very comfortable with my mirrorless camera and my interchangeable lenses, so I didn't do it. I absolutely did not do it until recently. Zhiyun agreed to send over their new Crane-M2. This video is sponsored by Zhiyun, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the new Crane-M2 and also looking at a few other tips and techniques that you can use to create better videos using a smartphone. I want to start out by talking about a few of the tools that I was using in addition to my phone to create the intro to this video, starting out with an app that allows you to manually control your phone's video settings. There are several different apps that do this, and the one that I used was called Filmic Pro. It basically just allows you to manually control settings like exposure so that you don't have the exposure constantly changing and auto-adjusting throughout the shot. It stays consistent, which makes it a lot less noticeable that you filmed it on a smartphone. Another tool that I used was a lens for my phone. So with a smartphone, you're really restrained to this one focal length. You can zoom in, but it doesn't look very good, and you can't zoom out at all. You're just stuck with this one very kind of bland neutral focal length. But if you attach an external lens to the front of the phone's camera, you can basically just have much more variety of the different shots, angles, and looks you can achieve using that very limited camera. And the final tool that I used was, of course, the Crane-M2, a gimbal for your smartphone, and this will just take the video to the next level entirely by allowing you to have so much more of a dynamic feeling in those shots than you would be able to achieve by just walking around with your phone. Now, the Crane-M2 is the newest product from Zhiyun. It's great for smartphones. In fact, it actually includes a universal phone mount, but it also works with other types of cameras like action cameras or even small mirrorless cameras. The gimbal is super small and portable, but it still has a battery that lasts about 7 hours worth of shooting time. This means it's perfect for traveling around, being on the go, and just being ready to have that setup on you and be able to get the shot whenever the option arises. It also just has a very low footprint in your bag. It's very small and slim, so you can just slide it into a pocket and you're good to go. And this is important because if you're shooting on your phone, the entire point is that it's a gadget that can capture good footage while still fitting into your pocket and being able to be taken anywhere. So it wouldn't really make sense to pair it with a giant piece of gear that helps you get better footage using it. You don't have to remove any batteries from the gimbal to charge it, and it actually charges using a universal USB-C port, which is amazing because it means you don't have to carry around a specialized cable or charger. If you have something else like a phone or a laptop that charges using USB-C, you can use that same cord, and it's a very common port for charging and accessories, so it's perfect for being able to have something on you that can charge it. Now, this gimbal has 5 different modes, so basically 5 different ways that it can respond to the way you're moving around when you're shooting with it. It of course includes the typical pan, follow, and locked mode. If you're in pan follow mode, then you can move your hands side to side and the camera will pan to follow, but if you move up and down, the camera is going to be completely locked on the tilt axis. And in locked mode, both of those axes are locked. If you move your hand at all, the gimbal is going to stay with the camera pointed perfectly forward and it's not going to move at all. These modes can be great for achieving different kinds of hyperlapses where you want to make sure that the camera is not moving around within the shot and making it shaky. You've also got POV mode where every single axis is unlocked and you can basically just move however you want and the gimbal will follow. This is great for achieving very fluid, organic, natural motions in your shot and just getting a really dynamic feeling in the footage. You've also got Go mode, which is pretty similar to POV mode in the sense that all of the axes are unlocked and it follows your motions very organically, but Go mode is a little bit different in that it makes sure the gimbal doesn't lag behind your motions. It keeps up and it's good for very fast motions, like if you're filming some kind of action sport or just want to be able to move the camera a lot faster and have it be a little more responsive. And finally, there's Vortex mode, which allows you to achieve these really cool 360-degree barrel roll shots. All of these modes are very useful in their own ways, but you can unlock even more potential in this gimbal by pairing it up with the XiPlay app. By pairing the gimbal and the camera, in this case your phone, with the XiPlay app, you have the ability to control either the gimbal or the camera using your phone and even control the camera using the gimbal's handle. So you don't have to reach up and try and press the buttons and mess up the balance and like get your hands stuck. Using the Zyplay app also allows you to take advantage of the gimbal in order to shoot motion time lapses, which can look really cool and just add a lot of value to your video with having that very unique style of time lapse. And finally, when you're done using the gimbal, you have the option to lock up all of the axes so that you can safely and compactly store it in your camera bag. All of that being said, compact gimbals for smartphones and action cameras are something we've seen before, but this one is different because of the features that it allows you to use. See, most gimbals intended to be used with smartphones have very limited features and are almost toy-like in their construction and the way that they operate, but this one basically is taking the features in those larger, more professional gimbals and taking them and putting them into a smaller frame for use with your phone. Basically, it's not gimmicky, it's an actual tool that gives you actual results. All that being said, no video is complete without editing, so I want to end this off by sharing with you how you can use some editing techniques to make that iPhone footage appear more cinematic. Because the footage is coming from your phone, it's not going to be super high quality like high bitrate, and it's already had some contrast, saturation, and sharpness added to it in the phone. So this basically means you can't push it too far with color grading. You should really just stick to making subtle tweaks. You can fix the white balance, fix the exposure a little bit, or even try some subtle tweaks like desaturating certain colors, shifting them around a little bit, but you can't color grade iPhone footage the same way you color grade, say, log footage from a mirrorless camera. All that I did to my footage was add some contrast and desaturate the greens, but even though these are subtle tweaks, they go a long way to making the footage have a unique look and appear more cinematic. Finally, you can try adding some effects to your footage that iPhone footage normally wouldn't or shouldn't have. In my case, this was that diffused highlights, pro mist filter type effect. This is something I made a complete separate video about a couple months ago, so you can check that out by clicking right up here, but basically you just key out the highlights of the video and then blur them out. It makes it look a little bit softer and more cinematic, and it's definitely not something you're gonna get in camera with an iPhone. All that being said, I hope you've learned something new from this video about how you can use something as small and simple as your phone, something you have on you all the time, to create a really cool video. If you want to learn a bit more about the Crane-M2 or even consider purchasing it for yourself, I'll put the necessary links in the description to where you can go and inform yourself further. But that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this video, learned something new from it, and if you did, do feel free to share your support by leaving a like on the video, sharing it with your friends, or even subscribing to my channel. I upload new videos every single week. But that's all for this one. Keep creating, and I'll see you in the next one.